Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. I thought today we would go over the Datamines and have a look at a bunch of stuff that is being added to the game over the next few days. As you know, when it comes to War Thunder, there are kind of major events like the F-14, and then there are minor events, which usually have maybe a few camos, some decals, and maybe some returning vehicles. It looks like, when it comes to the Datamines, that there's going to be a few of these mini events coming in. I might be wrong, of course, but these are following the same patterns that we've seen previously. So we'll go through all of them and also an update to the leak list to see what could easily be the future event vehicle, which is going to be coming soon. One of the things I would like to ask is, what would you like to see as an event vehicle kind of going forward in the next event after the F-14? And also at the same time, if you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the content. Thank you to Chabby and also Ashida for bringing us this news. Let's get into it. So to start off with, we have a bunch of Brazilian camos that have just been found in the files. They've just appeared, and it looks very similar to, remember when they did that Argentina video, basically talking about like the Falklands War, and also at the same time, you know, all the history around that. We're looking at these camouflages that they brought in. First of all, you have one for the Meteor F Mark 8, which is for the 4453, but then also the camo got brought over to the Reaper, the F Mark 8. It's exactly the same camo. My guess is they're not going to actually give this the standard Mark 8. Instead, they're going to discount the Reaper and then, you know, get people to buy that for the camo. Then also you have the P47D28. This one has the C5 419660 camo, which is a hell of a mouthful. So they're adding some Brazilian camos to the game, just like they did with the Argentinian camos. So maybe that's going to be the new route for the South American stuff for now. Add in some camos, see if people are interested in them. Add in obviously more vehicles. They obviously added in the AMX for the Brazilians most recently. And with Brazil having such a large player base and also a large population, there is always a chance that they could get more and more vehicles into the game and also more and more camos. So look out for a little kind of probably Brazilian event which is going to turn up. I'd be incredibly surprised if they don't do something similar to what we saw from Argentina. If they decide to do something different, don't worry, I'll make sure to let you know. They also have some new decals in the files, starting off with a new PS Plus snail decal, which is the Ancient Helicopter Snail. So this is a continued series of snail decals that they've done for PlayStation. Basically, if you have PS Plus, you get yourself this decal. Unfortunately, they don't seem to be available for anybody else, so only there for PlayStation people, and that kind of sucks. Obviously, exclusivity is kind of the bane of gaming and also the online era, and this has been part of it for a long time. So yeah, if you have PS Plus, look forward to a new decal, which looks like, of course, one of the old designs from our boy Leonardo. The good old helicopter one, which will be nice. The next one is the Mound of Glory decal. So this will probably be some kind of Russian event. It looks Russian, the colors and also the general statue. One of the things to note is they have become horrific at actually publicizing these events on kind of international media and instead only do it on the Russian side of things. Don't worry though, I'll make sure to cover it for you when it actually comes out, so we can all understand that it's here and play for it. Usually it's just play 3 battles using like Soviet ground vehicles or something like that in the game, but without actually seeing it, and without seeing it in the game, we can't really work out what's going on with it. Usually these types of events happen on the weekends, so Thursday, Friday will be when they're announced, and so look forward to that as we go on. There's also some other minor changes in the Datamines. So for example, the MiG-23BN, the tricolour camouflage, they've removed the squares from the center of the insignias, and also the MiG-23 MLD, the quadricolor camouflage wing roots have now been colored black. I would like to hear some opinions on the MiG-23 MLD. Of course, they nerfed it quite aggressively twice over the last period of time. You know, changing its ability to turn, and then also making its radar automatic, so you can't keep it all the time in the useful mode. So if there are any guys who have played it recently, I would really like to hear your opinions on it. and what's kind of been going on. For the AV-8B Plus and also the Harriers, the Mark 7 specifically, they've done some HUD code changes, so I don't know if that's going to affect them, but we'll see what goes for them. They also showed for everybody the P51C11 and the Tiger II. Both of these were in the last Battle Pass, so therefore they must be on the market now. So that's usually when they actually show them for everybody turning up. And then also a really cool thing for stat cards has turned up. The estimated damage to bases and reward multiplier for bases, which is really cool. One of the problems that a lot of people have had for the longest time with stat cards is they haven't really given a lot of useful information, and that is changing rapidly in War Thunder. Once again, huge improvements to the UI of the game and huge improvements to other areas of the game is fantastic to see, because this stuff affects everybody. And as a lot of people do like to hit bases, especially now with like the napalm changes where you can destroy bases pretty quick, it's nice to know how much damage you can actually do to bases. Now remember, when it comes to bases, the actual amount of health that they have, in quotation marks, is based around what BR you're at. So you can actually be in a down BR and the bases will have less health than they do in an up BR. So depending on that, it can be a bit of a pain, but at the same time you can kind of, you know, work around it. Also, on the Operation China Civil War 46, which is a map, they've moved some bunkers, artillery, and AA around. I hope that's not the Zhengzhou map, because that one is actually one of my favorites in terms of how to set it all up, but I'm guessing it might be because of the fact that it's really easy to ground pound on that one without the enemy really doing anything. The last part of the news is about the leaks themselves. The list itself has been updated with obviously the vehicles that have had a set of deadblocks and also which vehicles are going to be delayed. So the 9A33 OSA for Russia has been delayed, and also the KV-11942, along with, of course, the FA-18C from the Switzerland boys. All of these have basically been confirmed by community managers, which is why they are set as delayed instead of coming in the next update. That doesn't mean that any of the other ones won't be coming in the next update though, since so far the leak list has been correct on 4 separate accounts, which is pretty impressive. The other thing that has also changed about the leak list is the Warspite. Instead of it being the Warspite, it is now either the Barham, the Malaya, or the Valiant, which are all Queen Elizabeth battleships, basically the other ones which aren't the Queen Elizabeth or the Warspite. So one of those, which are all the sister ships of those two, looks like it's going to be an event vehicle, so that could easily be the next event. It would be surprising if it's the next event, since we haven't had a ground event in such a long time since the PLZ, but then again, maybe it isn't. Maybe it's time to get another naval vehicle in, so then they can actually save either a ground or an aircraft for the November anniversary, which is usually the one which is the big banger, the one where they add a really cool vehicle. So to see something like the Queen Elizabeth class would be really cool, and to be honest, I have quite a lot of stuff to grind out in Navy, so I wouldn't be too sad if they decided to add that, but I feel like a lot of people would be disappointed since we've just had a naval event and not really a ton else. So, let me know your thoughts on that. Would you be happy to see one of the Queen Elizabeth classes, or would you like to see a different vehicle? What is the event vehicle that you would like to see around? As always though, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank GMG Smiley, CD Beans, Chieftain Mike, EMN3 Galaxy, Tulio Pontecorvo, Brendan Quinn, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Wartinder, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, Ozzy Panzer, Alan Hacker, Liam Shear, Opium Prime, Lafouche, Sem Aslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R. for supporting the channel.